Hi guys, so in this video, I'm really improvising. I know this channel is called Flo Can Tell Stories, but I'm not even telling like a real story. I'm just talking. Um, I'm just talking out of my ass. um, but I wanted to make a video because it's been a while that I haven't made a proper video like I used to. Um, like the last since the beginning of this year. But I kind of slacked off. I also went to the United States. I was in San Francisco, and a lot of stuff happened. Um, but here I am, and so much didn't change in the end. But internally, stuff has happened. Like stuff happened. Stuff whatever, like what do you want to call change anyways? It's an abstract term we use. A change, I still live in the same place in Germany. I still, but I made improvements in, I mean, by improvement I just mean that I got forward in my studies. But I still have to get until the end, you know. But so this isn't a video about my studies or anything like that. I also wouldn't make. I also wouldn't like talk about it so like openly. Like, let's be honest. I think I'm a pretty open person, but I have my limits. I'm not super open. Like, I wouldn't tell you in detail all of my courses and grades. Why? What would be the point? I don't think that the YouTube, how do you call, audience are the people that will listen to, audience from like hearing, so auditor. Audience, I can Google audience in English. So I don't even think that the people who listen to this, yeah, I got it in German now, Publikum, which means like the public. But what is it in English? It's audience. Yeah, an audience, right? So I don't even think that my YouTube audience would be interested in hearing about my grades and stuff. I study French, English, and economics, basically. And I also teach. But anyway, so one of the reasons why I feel like I haven't made a video is that I feel like each time the outcome is like a circle. Each time, what will I go back to? Like, is the point I'm trying to make? And it's not helping anyone really, this point I'm trying to make. But it's that, and this is so bad. It's also like unpolitical. It's like politically incorrect too, of me to say this. Okay, but basically, and this is very a controversial statement, and I don't think that a lot of people would support this, okay? And it's more of a critique, maybe, of mine towards like a system. And this system is the EU, the European Union, okay? Now, it's very practical to be able to travel from one country to the next within the European Union, between different European countries, right? Like, don't get me wrong, I'm appreciative of all these advantages I have, like but the thing is, calling it a union, because this model has been copied on the United States, basically, which are united. They are united. These states, they are united. And so in Germany, you also have 16 states, and I think they're pretty united. Like, linguistically speaking, you have some dialects, you have some divergent opinions. The South might be a bit more conservative than like the North, or I think the eastern part is more conservative. But anyhow, Europe, like I grew up between France and Germany, and I also have Croatian roots. But this is very bad of me to say. but I don't think this is a very solid union. Like we have, I mean, bureaucratically, maybe, like on paper, maybe. And I mean, I'm appreciative of the benefits. As I said, I'm able to travel between different countries, and I even know French, like my mother tongue, because I grew up in France and I went to French school from kindergarten until the end of high school, and even past that, even like later on in I started studying in France like a French person. But the thing is, I never got the French nationality when I was young, even though I could have. My brother and my sister, they can have it because they were born in France. But so, what point am I trying to make? It's so horrible, but it's a critique that the European Union isn't really a union. These people, like from my personal experience, I have had to battle with these people. And why do I also speak English? Well, I've worked on my English and stuff, but also without even having to work on your English, like academically, just by being French German. When it will come down to it, even the French people that want to learn German and that learn German, or even the French, both ways. Then the German people that learn French and the French. So when it will come down to it, they will speak English. And so I didn't choose this. I was like born into it. And I'm not trying to brag or to like say that I'm the ultimate like French German like guy or anything like this. But when it comes down to it, you will have to talk in English, because I for example, I know a French girl in Germany, and she hooked up with a German dude, and she knows German. And the German dude, he had some French probably at school. And I'm also teaching French and English to Germans. But when it will come down to it, they will talk English, okay? Because English, they did a good job at unifying people. What do I mean? I know that there are problems with racism and stuff also in the United States. I'm not like blind. I'm not like unconscious, like, but they are, but it's a different kind of racism. It's like in Germany and France, they also have racism, but it's a different type of because when they talk about racism in the US, usually they also refer to Hispanic immigrants, okay? And this isn't the case at all in the EU. We're comparing oranges to apples, It's not the same thing. So racism in Germany and France, it's very different what we mean by this term, like racism, what it means. Like, oh, this is racist, like pointing your finger, this is discriminatory, and so on. It's a different concept almost, because it addresses different types of people, different groups of people, different ethnicities, and so on. But so what I want to say is that I'm just, and this is so bad, because I'm in circle. I'm like tourner en rond. I'm like, ich mich im Kreis drehen. It means like I'm turning in circle, basically, like a puppet chasing his like how do you say, the tail? Like a dog chasing his tail, kind of like this. But I think that, and also I will not change it by myself. So that's why I think I've looked for like other countries than French and Germany that I could familiarize myself with. But so basically in Europe and in the EU, some even conservative people, they have the argument of the so-called Abendland, which means like the land of the evening or something. If you translate it literally, it means the evening's land or something. And what they mean by that is like basically Western European countries, and that they are supposedly unified culturally by some cultural features. But I'm sorry, I don't recognize these. I'm sorry, because I am French German, and I had to fight a lot to get understood by both French and German people. It's not that easy. These people, they don't even if they learn each other's languages, they will still not use it because it's so how would you say it's not unconventional, but it's inconvenient. It's just not convenient. So I don't know if it's just because English is more convenient and it's the international language and it's cool to speak English supposedly. But the thing is, when I went to back to Germany, when I came to from France, I felt cool speaking German. You know, I was trying to improve my German. I was trying to, and to open myself up to Germans. And I have a lot of German friends, and it worked in a way. But when I go back to French people, then I really have to really change something that if I would tell other people what tricks I kind of use, internal tricks to get along, both French and German people, I would slip into politically incorrect statements that these people, they don't get along. I'm fucking sorry, not sorry. German and French people, I am French German, okay? I grew up between both countries and I was a good student at school. I got good grades. I finished high school with a very good average, like above averagely good. But basically, bien is like the appréciation, appreciate bien, okay? And even in German, I was doing good. And I'm not like super good, because I'm not like a smart ass like some of these like genius kids you find. No, for me it was always linked with I still have to make efforts. Ça ne tombe pas du ciel. It doesn't drop from like the sky. You know what I mean? But so from what I can tell, when I meet American people, whether they're from like Louisiana or Montana or San Francisco or so now I'm saying cities and states at the same time, but you get my point. All across the United States and maybe even Canada. So this is like the English language maybe also that like binds these people. But to me, these people, they were able to at least understand each other, like the literal meaning of understanding the meaning, you understand the words. So that's a first point. And they also like understand each other in the sense that they kind of, at least the ones I met, they got along. They have shared insiders. They have a shared culture. They share cultural elements, even though they might live 2,000 miles apart. But in Europe, you meet people that they just live 100 miles apart from each other and they don't get along and they don't even understand each other. So even if they understand each other and they put in the work, the studying, to get better at French or German or Spanish or Italian and stuff. My sister might have a different opinion on this. She's German, as she's also French German. She grew up like me, but she is in a relationship with an Italian, apparently, and they met in Spain. So maybe she has a different view about like the EU and stuff, and she's also politically engaged and stuff, and I'm not. And there is a reason why I'm not, because I don't feel like this shit is good, but maybe I'm just a complainer. Yeah, I don't want to fall into the category of a complainer. I hope this is not just complaints, but yeah, this is the reason why I'm not making any more videos, because I feel like each time, if I really just spoke up, this is what would come back. That Germans are fucking racist and that French people are just as racist, okay? That these fucking people are racist as fuck. And that also Spanish people, like, they're also racist. And Italians too, they're racist. So if you would take it like far enough, this is what would come back all the time. It's just me complaining about European people being racist. And the irony is also that I'm white. And while I'm not just like German in terms of my ethnicity and like background, even though I often like get pretty much always get mistaken as like a German, but I'm not like really German type. I'm more like Slavic, Eastern kind of type, you know. It's also like South European too because of my Croatian roots, but these are kind of like Slavic Eastern people. Okay, but so you have these Indo-European languages that share a lot of vocabulary, and it shouldn't be that difficult. Come on, guys. Like German and French people, I don't really understand. Like, okay, English shares a lot of vocabulary, like common roots, like Latin, French origin words with French and stuff. But also French. Look, when you say backwards, in German you say rückwärts. So the wärts, you also spell it like WERTS, so it means words. So it's this, almost the same spelling, WARDS or WERTS. And back means rück or arrière and backward. So it's the same kind of thinking, you know. So that's why these languages, they are not even that different. Because you say backwards, back like rück, words like wärts. So back words becomes rückwärts. So once you are able to like discern and clip these like these words together, and you form like, I don't know, I should have studied better, you know, but you got the point. It's like compounding of words and being creative with words and understanding the words by analyzing them and like debunking them and like breaking them down to their root. And but then there's the base, there's the root, all the suffix. I'm not that good, okay? Like I knew some of that stuff by heart, but I've forgotten it, okay? But it's not even the point I'm trying to make. I'm just saying that it shouldn't be so freaking difficult for French and German people to get along. Now, maybe that's just my perspective, and maybe I perfectly, quote unquote, embraced French and German to the point that it made me sick, because I fail to recognize that there is a union. But so maybe there isn't, okay, there is definitely a bureaucratic, like on paper, there's definitely a union, you know, I'm not crazy, like obviously I'm a part of the European Union, and when I travel to Spain, I don't have to go through like the border, like custom service check, whatever, border check, I don't know, because I'm European and Spanish people are European too, and so that's why there is the EU, Europe, and also in terms of like exchanges, in terms of I'm gonna grab some candy or some sweets if I still have some left. Yeah, but so maybe also economically some advantages. Like in Spain, I would see like some German shops, like monopolies, like they invaded, you know, like the Aldi, I think it is, they break the prices, you know. Now, some Spanish people, they might complain about this, you know, because it's like bad for the economy, but others might argue it's good for the economy. But I'm not even making like a economical video, just culturally speaking. Maybe I have a problem, and so that's why I'm like walking on eggshell each time. But from what I can tell, if I see a group of German and a group of French people, they will always use English inevitably, and their reactions, they will always have some what I would call even racist, culturally racist behaviors, because both are white and European, like not all the time, but usually. So between French and German people, there isn't racism based on the skin tone, obviously. That's what I want to say. Now, you can obviously also have brown Germans and French people, but that's not what I just meant that it's cultural racism, in the sense that they will always frown and be like surprised, like, oh, this is weird, this like, oh, Germans are weird because of XYZ, and then Germans will say, oh, French are so weird because of XYZ. And I'm like, okay, maybe this is humor and I'm not getting it, but no, it actually affected me by me being fucking isolated and having a fucking like break, like moments of crisis. And English is like the savior in the end, the English language. And isn't it what also happened during World War II in the end? French and German people fighting each other, not getting along. And who in the end comes to help them? English speaking countries, like democracies, will put an end to this, put a term to, mettre un terme, we say in French, to this war. But French and German people, it's a mess. It's a mess. Germans invade France. The French people, they kind of agree, but they kind of disagree. And once the war is over, the French will just bash the Germans. They're mean, or the Nazi racist Germans. And then the Germans will say, French people, they're arrogant. So that's usually what comes back from Germans, is that for speaking French and stuff, I'm arrogant. So apparently I'm arrogant for being French to German people. And apparently I'm also racist when I'm in France because I'm German. So how am I supposed to not to just be fine? How am I supposed to not to at some point to manifest something? So this is what I'm doing in this video, and I don't want to make my channel just about complaining about my countries like France and Germany. I don't want to make this channel just about complaining about France and Germany. But when you take it far enough, it's usually what will come back with me. Yeah, I know. It's ridiculous. It's redunculous. It's very stupid. And I have lots of French and German friends. But the thing is, now I'm more like settled in Germany at this point. But not so long ago, I used to be more settled in France. But to be like settled in both, with this union, I to me at least, I haven't made. I don't want to say I failed, because I don't like this mentality. But maybe, this European Union and this French-German stuff, it has failed me. Yeah, it has failed me. Because in the end, who am I, what am I speaking in the end? And what language am I speaking? English. And England isn't even a part, or the UK isn't even a part of the European Union anymore. So this is also a joke. The language of the European Union is English. But no English-speaking countries are within the European Union. So this alone should tell you something. And so the cliche, and when I said that French people think that German people are racist, I also heard this from a German guy, that apparently French people are racist. So basically, in the end, if you take it far enough, it's also just a bunch of insults. They basically don't like each other, okay? And that message, to let it sink in, is very difficult. I don't want to let it sink in. That's why I'm the way I am. Like, refusing and shit. Like, I think, like, I aspire to a greater future in which French and German people, they will understand each other. And so that's why I'm also teaching French, German people, because I have faith, But sometimes that faith, I have to, this faith, I have to entertain it, because if I didn't, it would definitely fade. But I also have no choice, except because I'm physically in Germany, and I have no choice. I'm physically in I've physically been in France and Germany. But one day I might leave the EU, and hopefully by then I will have a better opinion on it. But the reason why I want to leave is because I don't have such a good opinion on it. And I know the grass isn't always greener. Like, I've been to the US. I've seen some, shit, basically. But also, in the city, American cities, in the city center, if there are homeless people, like in San Francisco, for example, like you see in the Tenderloins, I was in the Tenderloins. And it's not dangerous because there is police everywhere. So, sorry, but I've been in the Tenderloins and I even made out with the girl from San Francisco. And we even, and it was fun. It was good. I got like this. So basically, I'm sometimes asking one cigarette for $1 because in a kiosk, I get one cigarette for 50 cents. But usually, normally, this is prohibited. It's forbidden. It's illegal. Okay, but I still did it in the Tenderloins. They would still give me a cigarette for $1, and so I would just pull out $1 and I would get me a cigarette, another cigarette, and I would hang out, chill with this girl that I had met and a bunch of other people, and it was nice. And then some like other kid that had actually brought me there, he put on like a mask or something, feeling like all gangster and shit. And I still know this guy. I mean, he's a definitely, he's also on parole, and apparently he doesn't want to get involved into any type of. It's this mask, you know, these it's very silly. It's I will Google it. It's like the mask where you can all storm mask. He basically put, and he was like walking in the Tenderloin, like feeling all threatening and shit. I don't know what was the reason why he would wear this mask, but I didn't wear a mask. I was just hanging out, smoking my cigarettes, and I got rid of these cigarettes. Okay, I'm not like a cigarette smoker, like in the sense that I push. I wouldn't. It's not even. Yesterday I even had one, but then before that, like for 5 days in a row, I didn't have a single one, and today I didn't have any cigarettes either. So I'm not, I try to stay away from cigarettes. But in the Tenderloins, I was smoking cigarettes, to kill time and to just. But I saw police cars everywhere, like in the corner of the street. You would cross the street, and you would see like, what's that? Cop car that could pull over anytime. So if I would start a fight in the middle of an American city, like at Union Square, San Francisco, you have cop cars everywhere. Okay, like 100 cop cars, probably 1,000 cops just at Union Square. I'm exaggerating, but you get the point. Like when in the morning and also by night, like in the morning, I remember it was like maybe 6 a.m. I was walking down like the street at Union Square in San Francisco, and like 10 cop cars in just one street. It was just cop cars. And then some homeless dude on the other side of the street was like yelling at me and shit. And even some were maybe provoking me. But if I don't give in, I mean, they're not gonna do nothing. They're not gonna do anything. Because look, there's too much security, okay? So maybe some of these homeless people, they look fucked up, but in my opinion, when I visited the United States, when I was in San Francisco, it was very secure. It was very safe, okay? It was very fucking safe. Like, even much safer than what I have in the north of Germany and some of these neighborhoods that I sometimes go to. In my opinion, they're more dangerous because some of these crooks, they're not just like fucked up homeless people. They're like homeless by choice, and they're dangerous homeless guys. Okay, they're very slick, and they can be, I think, very nasty and very rough and very violent if they chose to. So I wouldn't fuck with these people. But so that's just, maybe I'm just talking trash, and politically incorrect. But I haven't solved this issue yet. Okay, I'm French German, and when I talk to my people, French or German people, I'm like, I'm like, I don't know how to address these people at this point. I speak French and German fluently. It's my mother tongue. And I have a bachelor's, like graduate, a pretty like overall like good student, you know. But my realization is just that when I talk to French and German people at this point, I don't sometimes don't even know how to address them. Even though I speak French fluently and German fluently, I sometimes don't even know how to address these people. Yeah. Because of all the shit that will also come back, and the shit that will, and I don't want to make anyone mad. I just want to have a good time. But to have a good time with these French German people now, I'm bad for making this video, and I will see if I will load it up. But you know, I hope I'm not that bad of a friend, you know, to talk like this about, because I have a lot of French and German friends, and I don't want to talk bad of them and stuff, and even Spanish friends, even Italian friends, and even all kinds of European friends. But from my observations, yeah, what I said in this video, I still hold that statement that they don't get along, okay? It's too bad, okay? And I don't have a solution. So I might just travel somewhere else and see if the grass is greener. Because, I mean, it's really cool, the idea to have a European Union and the idea of a union. Maybe we should just make it better, you know. But because, in my opinion, they're not like unified culturally. Not much, okay? Difficult, okay? Like you take a Spanish person, a French person, a German person. Now French and German, they look the same, but Spanish even look a bit different. But it's not about the looks, it's about the culture and what they will say and stuff. And I can say that very different outcomes on each of these, on each end, on each of, from each of these. So if I would go to French people with a certain issue that isn't like a technical issue that you could fix like technically, but with a general, I need an idea, an opinion, and then I would go to German people, I think that I would have very divergent results, very different. Yet they are neighbor countries, and they are apparently a union, but really they're also very different, you know. So you could always say they're different, but at the same time they are likewise. They're similar, but at the same time they are not exactly the same, you know. But yeah, this individuality and this these differences we also want. We want to encourage them. We want this, you know. We want differences. We want a lot of colors. You know, we want all the colors of the rainbow. Basically, we want this. But in the EU, at this point, in Germany and France, I don't feel it. I don't feel it. Yeah, definitely, I don't feel it. If now I went to France, to like Paris or something, and I would go out, I'm not feeling it. To Lyon, I'm going out. I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling it. Not at all. Now, Germans is a bit different. They also speak English a bit more, you know. It's more of their sound. It sounds a bit more like English, German. It sounds a bit more, even though the vocabulary is more like French. German language, it sounds more like English a bit, you know. Like house, it means house. It's the same, you know, house. It's like the colloquial expressions. They're usually pretty similar. Basically, English is in the middle of French and German, for me at least. I grew up bilingual, and maybe if I grew up with Spanish and German, I would say that English is between Spanish and German, whatever. But yeah, so hopefully during my lifetime, we will see some positive changes within the European Union and their people, because culturally, from what I can tell, it's not really a success, because at least maybe I'm just pointing the finger on this because it's like easy for me, because it's like an easy way to I just like bash France and Germany to, just complaining. Complaining, it will not solve any issues. So that was it for my video. Please don't take it personally. I hope I didn't say any offending stuff, yeah, have a good one. And if you stayed until now, I'm definitely impressed. So this will be my last video for the moment, talking and like bashing and talking trash about France and Germany and the European Union. I want to stop, because in the end it's gonna also catch up with me, and it's gonna destroy me to talk bad of France and Germany. So that was it. After this video, the next couple of videos, I will come up with another topic than France or Germany or the EU. And I will also, so I want to get going as a YouTuber. Like I'm not like what you would call like a real YouTuber, but maybe I'm at least I'm trying. I'm trying to emulate something that would resemble that. Okay, so have a good one. Take care and stay blessed.